Welcome to Coach on the Couch. I'm your host, Jason Zaleski, and we continue with our 2018 football preview. And our coach on the couch today is Stratford Tigers head coach Jason Tubbs. Coach, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, you got it. Anytime. You're welcome here anytime, all the time if you want to. That's just a short drive down from Stratford. But I know you got some other stuff going on up in Stratford this time of year anyway. So glad you can make the trip down today.
It's always glad to come here and give back to the community a little bit and talk football.
Yeah, good. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, as it turns out. We're going to talk a little bit about football and a lot about Stratford Tiger football. We'll get to know Coach here a little bit, and then we'll get kind of his take on the season as we progress through the show here. So, Coach, just to start out, for people that are new to the audience or maybe new to Stratford Tiger football as they watch this all over Wisconsin, how many years have you been coaching, and what keeps you motivated to come back every year?
This is my 26th total year of coaching football. This is my 16th year in Stratford, and it'll be my 6th year as a head coach for Stratford.
Holy man.
Yep.
So you know everything about Stratford football.
Well, I had a good mentor with Cal Takis, and I've had a great staff. Joe Schwabe's been in the program since day one. He coached or he played in the first state championship as a quarterback, and now he gets an opportunity to coach his own kid this year. So it's kind of been fun. We've got other guys. Kellen Kafka played for me and won 3 state championships, and now he's my one-line and D-line coach. And Ryan Bloom's been there for 18 years, and Marshall and Shay Lehman, both add-ins from Edgar, both in our school teachers. So we have a great staff, and it's always fun to work with guys that love talking and working with kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to talk about last year just a little bit. A quick reminder, live streams again available all season long at ZaleskiSportsShow.com. Also for football, check in every Friday morning on Facebook at Zaleski Sports. Check out our games of the week. And we had a lot of games last year, Coach. We got over 30 scheduled this year. Stratford Tiger is always a big part of our live stream schedule, no matter the season. So as we look back to last year, started out the year at home, 21-14 loss to Stanley Boyd. You found out a lot about the team last year. Probably a game that you could have won. I happened to be in that camp. I remember a couple untimely fumbles, a penalty here and there, but that's football. And then 10 weeks later, at a playoff game at their place, 38-0. So just take us through the season. What changed from that first game against Stanley Boyd to that big playoff game?
Every year our goal is to improve every day. And I tell the kids that just about every day, is that, did you get better today? And I think when they understand that you can play bad and win, you can play bad and lose, but you got to get better every day. And week 1 to week 2 is always a big tester for us as well, because then we play Anago again this year. And last year, after kind of a tough loss at home to Stanley Boyd, we went up to Anago and we shut them out, a team that ended up high in the playoff ranking. And so for our guys to realize, we can play with some teams. And as the year progressed, we just continued to get better, continued to figure out where the guys were and where they wanted to play, and rotating guys in. And then Kate Erickey, coming back this year, really played well. He got injured at the end of the year, and it was not himself. I'm not saying that with him 100% can we beat Amherst. I don't know. I mean, they're a pretty good team, and their quarterback was a pretty special player. And they have a couple kids that were really, really outstanding standalone guys. But last year we always look at, I had a great chance this winter to look at our team, to evaluate our team offense and defensively, and see what we need to add, see what we need to change, see what we need to keep. So hitting the ground running this year, you can see there's will be some changes, but a lot of it is still our core values of getting better every day, working hard, and playing for that guy next to you in the stands, because our fans come for every event, and our guys got to realize that they're here to watch you play hard. They're not here to watch you, they're going to cheer for you one way or the other, but you got to play hard for them.
Coach, you mentioned Amherst turned out to be the eventual state champions. They knocked off a few teams, obviously, on their way. You mentioned that game. So you go on the road, you beat Bondwell. Go on the road, beat Stanley Boys, we just talked about, and then run into Amherst. What can you learn from that to take into 2018, or is that game just last year's old news?
We learned, I think, a little bit about ourselves defensively on how do you stop a quarterback that is that good. So Coach Lehman and I sat down and said, okay, what are our choices here? So going into them, if we would have a fortunate to play him again this year, or a kid that's that elusive, we have a different idea, a style. We went and met with some college coaches and say, hey, what do you guys do when it's this type of athlete? So we learned from that, But other than that, it's over. Our seniors have graduated, moved on. We'll miss them. Some great kids that gave a lot of hours, blood, sweat, and tears for our program. But I think this year is kind of a new year, and our kids kind of, right away, a week after the Amherst game, they're in their weightlifting already and getting ready.
Yeah. And that brings us right into 2018 here as we start to dive into this current season. Again, I mentioned live streams, ZaleskiSportsShow.com, all kinds of live streams, including a week 1 matchup that we're going to talk about here in just a moment. Just 11 miles down the road, Spencer Columbus is going to take in the Stratford Tigers. But before we get there, a couple ways to find out about the live streams other than the websites. I mentioned the Facebook page. And then new this year, Coach, we've got a fall sports magazine. We'll do these with every season. 13 local schools featured in the magazine, including the Stratford Tigers. Got a picture of you on there. We dug one up somewhere, I guess, right? And then Dylan Shaner in the magazine too, along with a pretty cool write-up about the team and all the other Stratford sports and all the sports that are going on here in central Wisconsin. So as you look now to this year's team, senior leadership is always something that a coach has to rely on, because after you're out of practice or you called to play, those kids run on the field. They got to do it all on their own out there, and usually the seniors are the ones that are helping. So talk about the seniors on this year's team and what their leadership means to the 2018 football team.
Well, first and foremost, we get Cade Erickey back. He had ankle surgery in early March or April, I can't remember now, and he got cleared by the surgeon, and last night he looked back like 100%. And so really happy to see him out there. He's up 10, 15 pounds of muscle. I would not want to tackle him. Also next to him you get Dylan Shaner coming back, and Dylan Shaner is a 3-year starter for us. Here's a kid that weighed 180 pounds his sophomore year, and now he's 230. He's put on 40 to 50 good pounds. He's not one of those chubby kids. He's an athletic state qualifier, state champion type of kid. He'll play center for us at DN. Another senior that you'll see playing back, returning starters, Oakley Wrench. He was one of our top leading tacklers last year at safety. He also didn't play in the Amherst game last year. He got a concussion in the Stanley Boy game. We look for him to be back there directing traffic on offense and defense. So those 3 seniors are kind of our core guys. You also add some other seniors that will be contributing. One of them that is coming out since his freshman year is Ryan Foley. He broke his leg in a snowmobile accident after his freshman year. Now he's up to 220 pounds, and you'll see him on the field. Lance Heidemann took a year off. Now he's back helping out playing. Trevor Steiner and Reed Curtis, guys that played last year, were in the rotation. They're coming back. So we have a good core of seniors that know our offense, that know our defense. And another captain is Eli Drexler. And Eli is one of our multi-purpose kid. As a sophomore, he started at quarterback. As a junior, we moved him to tight end. And now this year, he's going to play running back. And, he looked really good in the scrimmage. He's our fastest kid. He's our most experienced D-backs, 3-year starter. So he's one of our kids that you're going to see the ball in his hands. And then we get Derek Martin back. Here's another kid that got hurt, shoulder injury, his junior year or sophomore year in wrestling, had surgery, ran cross country, but was at every practice he could be. And now he's coming back, and he's a 2-way starter for us. So, another kid that's a captain for us. The kids love him, and he's the type of kid that pushes the guys to another level that us coaches can't do.
Right.
So really excited about our senior group this year.
And those guys, they help in the huddle. Obviously, they help in practice, but I'm talking about game day. They help in the huddle, and then they help outside of the huddle, right? They help get guys lined up. And then some of those guys obviously look up to them, and when they're out there playing, they're hitting hard, doing their things. So those other guys are looking up to them. Those are the juniors and the sophomores, who are a couple maybe standouts or borderline standouts in that group that have a real potential to get good as the season goes on.
Well, great. The first junior we should talk about is probably Ben Barton. Ben has some college offers already.
Right.
Here's a 6'5", very athletic, 250-pound kid, and he's the most athletic lineman I've had, and that's saying a lot because we've had some really athletic linemen. But when Iowa's knocking on the door, I'm pretty excited about him, and you're getting the Badgers and emails from Notre Dame. Yeah. You can't help cheer for the kid, and he's a hardworking kid. He played with his brother last year. He's a 2-way starter as a sophomore. So he's a football guy, and he's a great basketball player too.
He is.
And so you have him. You have Vaughn Bright, another junior who started for us last year at tight end. Now he's put on 15 pounds of muscle, so he's looking great, catching balls, throwing the ball, once in a while too, and you'll be surprised what he can do. Those 2 juniors are really going to contribute. And you got Jacob Michelson and Dawson Moen. Here's 2 juniors that last year the sophomores had to start when a couple of our senior guys got hurt. So now they've added 20 pounds of muscle, and they're really looking good. Our front offense and defensive line has done a great job so far. Another junior that's been playing a lot is Trevor Denny, and Easton Kilty, another junior that reconditioned his body and are going to contribute and play a ton. We had an add-in kid from last year. He moved in from Colby, and his name is Chase Flink, and he's our second fastest kid. So he'll be the guy that's going to be returning kicks and punts, and he's our punter, and you get the ball in his hands and look out. So it's our job as coaches to get these guys the ball. It's hard because you're only 11 around the field, And another senior I forgot to mention was Paul Hooter. Here's another kid that's hasn't played football to his junior year, and now he's 6'4" and he's 230, and he's a man-child. And and I'm just excited to see what he can do his senior year.
Coach, it sounds like another exciting brand of Stratford Tiger football. We're excited for you and your team, and again, we're excited for just the season as a whole. We're big sports fans here at Zaleski Sports. Again, you're watching Coach on the Couch. We're visiting today with Stratford Tiger head coach Jason Tubbs. So, Coach, let's get into a couple of games that really stand out on the schedule. You start Spencer Columbus. We'll get to them in just a minute. And you end regular season with Edgar at home this year. I don't know what else there is to know about Edgar coaching as long as you have, as long as Coach Sins has been doing this. How do you, obviously that game's out there, but what's left to know? What's left to figure out about the Edgar Wildcats and when Edgar Stratford, the game happens again in 2018?
Well, being week 9 has been unique because that's been this year and last year, so you're saving your best for last, but you also have the bittersweet that's the most physical game we play in. So you don't want to go limping into the playoffs if you make the playoffs in round 1. And our games haven't very rarely been blowouts. When we were going for our 3 state championships, I think the 3rd year there, we got them pretty good. But then they turned around in the next couple of years, and we had to beat them down at state 7-3. And then after that, they were loaded, and they took it to us. And now every game since has been pretty much a coin toss. It's come down to 2 field goals. Last year they beat us 10-0, and again that was a game without Cade.
Right.
And that changes everything. It changes the way you game plan for us. And they will be ready to go. They have a great quarterback in Carson Butts. He's, I think, a 3-year starter. They have a lot of high goals. I think they wish they could have last year's game against Bangor back, who ended up being state champs.
Right.
So they're going to have playoffs on their mind. We're going to have playoffs on our mind. But you get a chance to win the conference. That gives you higher seeding opportunities. And then once you go from there. But, Jerry's a great guy, and I don't think he's going to stop coaching anytime soon. He looks young and energized every time I see him.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a chance to talk to him here a couple weeks ago, and you're right. He's fired up. He's a football guy through and through, just like we are. And anyway, Coach, we really look forward to that game, but you can't get there without playing all the other games first, and it all starts on August 17th, week 1, Stratford, Spencer, 2 of Central Wisconsin's heavyweights. How do you handicap a game like that? What are your thoughts coming in here to really one of the biggest games of the year right off the bat?
We look forward to it. It's a nice challenge for us right off the bat. We want to see what we have. I'm sure they're thinking the same thing. Measuring stick right off week 1. Their conference is good year in and year out with Eau Claire Regis and Stanley Boyd and Fall Creek and not to mention other teams, Altoona, the largest school in their conference. And for us, they have unique offense that we got to prepare for, which is good. It's kind of like a playoff atmosphere this week because you never know if you're going to have to play them again in the playoffs.
Right.
They got a kid by the name of Logan Schernitz. I'm sure their coach talked about him, and you can tell watching on film that he deserves the Division I scholarship, and I'm sure he'll do really well for Northern Illinois. But our guys are also up to the challenge to say, hey, let's see what we got against them. And I'm glad that they don't have Hunter Lukey because watching him for the last 3 years, he was a different player as well, and that's the reason why he got North Dakota State offering him money. So they know each other. They're friends. The kids know each other. I know that they're in each other's houses at times. They date possible same girlfriends at times, being only 10 miles away. But other than that, our kids are ready to go. I wish it was home, but that's not the way the schedule was this year. But we get them again next year at home.
All right, Coach, again, I mentioned some of the live stream games that we look forward to broadcasting your games. Many highlights throughout the year when we're not live. I'd said over 30 games live this year in our game of the week, obviously. Stratford, Spencer, we're really looking forward to it. I know we'll definitely see you at the game and talk to you there. Just last question with that game, you said it's in Spencer. It's 11 miles down the road. How many people are going to be left in Stratford at 7 p.m. on Friday night?
I hope they have seating. I know that. It seems like we go to Amherst, they always run out of seating as well. But I know that Coach Gorse will have his team ready to go. I heard they have a better press box now, and it'll be fun. It'll be hot, and August football.
Yeah, good. And just while you're saying a better press box, I mean, hey, we always appreciate some snacks and beverages up there. So hook us up a little bit. So anyway, Coach, thanks for joining us. We really look forward to the season. We wish you all the best of luck in 2018.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the coverage.
All right, you got it. All right, that's it. That is our 2018 football preview. We are locked and loaded for football and all the fall sports in 2018. Guys, I'm Jason Zaleski, and you're watching Coach on the Couch.